Hi everyone, my name is Tomassi, and this is the X Factor Safety Podcast. This show will dive into the daily tactics, techniques, and practices of everyday safety pros, from industry leaders and beyond. We will find out what their X Factor is. Welcome back everybody to the X Factor Safety Podcast. I'm your host, Pedro Maciel. On this episode, we have the great Jarrod Tomassi from Turner Construction, U.S. Army veteran. So, Jarrod, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, what's up, Pedro? Hey, what's up, everybody? All right, so I'm Jarrod Tomassi, and I work for Turner, but I'm just going to represent myself tonight. A couple goals for me is I'm going to make this motivational. I mean, Pedro and I are going to do this. We're going to have some fun, but we're also going to do a little bit of education. So one of the things I was asked is to kind of talk about where I came from, my experiences. And I'm just going to start off by making it a little bit of a testimony. Dropped out of high school, 16 years old, living in East Los Angeles. Wasn't sure what I was going to do, right? But hey, I joined the Army and got out honorably in 98. Decided to become an EMT on an ambulance, which led me into piloting submersibles in the Cayman Islands, being a snowboard instructor, commercial diver in the Gulf of Mexico. Then I decided to become a paramedic and basically saving lives and breaking hearts. That's just a joke. Took that onto the fire department where I was a Los Angeles City fireman. I got a really weird phone call about a year into it from the Science Fiction Channel asking me if I wanted to go around the world as a medic on a television show called Destination Truth. And I was like, why not? So I left it all behind and went on this television show, which took me into an international career as a medic. I went to Iraq for a few months and then into West Africa. In 2009, I was on an offshore installation. I'm not going to say where. I'm sure there's a lot of privacy in this, but there was a fatality, and I was the medic who had to take care of the situation. He was a friend of mine, and the hard thing is most medics don't really treat the people that they know. They treat strangers, and it's easier to just kind of separate yourself from them. So this really hit me, and looking at that, I started looking at safety and go, man, I'm in a reactive profession. How do I stop people from getting injured? And so I approached the safety manager for an oil company, and he said, get a degree. Your attitude is there. Your work ethic's there. Get a degree. So I took that go on, man, and I got 4 degrees. Couple associates, a bachelor's, and then a master's degree. The reason I'm saying this isn't really to brag, but if you remember, the start of the story was 16, dropped out of high school, master's degree at 40. So, anything's possible, man.
Yeah, no, definitely. It definitely, good story, good background. So backtracking to that.
Yeah.
So, what got you interested in becoming an EMT? What triggered that?
Yeah, okay, so right at the end of my enlistment, I actually enlisted into the National Guard as an Army medic. I got injured in South Korea, and I was like in the field, and I used to have hair then, and it was like sticking up, and I was like smelt, and I had salt stains, and I hurt my wrist pretty bad, and was taken back to a medic tent. And I remember walking into this tent, and it was like, oh, like the doors open, and there's like cold Gatorade and like clean people, and they were like, hi, John. And, I was like, wait, I'm combat, like this is different. So I said, there's no way I'm doing that combat engineer demolition stuff. I'm becoming a medic. Like, I'm hanging out in a tent like this. So that's what I did. And then obviously that lateral was right over into EMT.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. So when you got into that tent, you say that, there's clean people, cold Gatorade. Was that a high commodity being in South Korea?
Yeah, brother. I mean, we had MREs, and I remember the only warm meal of the day was breakfast. Gotcha. And I remember having a breakfast one day in Korea, and I came out and it was snowing. And right as I walked out, someone was walking in and it crushed my plate and all my food dropped.
Oh, man.
And I looked in, dude, and I was like, am I going to stand in line for another 20 minutes? I'm starving, you know? Yeah. I just scrubbed it back on my plate, dude, when I ate it. so to like go from like eating off the floor, basically, to
nice.
See what, yeah.
So your role now, you're the HSE manager for Turner Construction. Where at exactly are you at? Because I know Turner's a pretty big company.
Yeah, so Turner, I think, is the third largest construction general contractor in the nation. I started with Turner. They actually recruited me out of oil and gas. So I was overseas for 10 years.
Gotcha.
And when I finished my master's degree, and this is why I'm getting back to the degree, it was an online degree, but it got me a really great job. So don't forget that online degrees are awesome too. They recruited me in 2018, and when I joined them, they asked me to go up to Iowa for a year and then get some training until something opened up for a position of my level in San Antonio. So I went up and worked on a data center up there for a year, then transferred down here, and now I'm back on a data center.
Nice. So you're in San Antonio.
San Antonio.
Good. Yeah, I'm probably about 2 hours away from you. I'm actually in a project in San Angelo.
Okay.
So it's it's a small world. You'd be surprised how close you come in contact with people. So, talking about how you got into safety, it's a great story, great, background story. And I see you're passionate about it. And, so that passion, what drives you day to day?
Oh, shoot, man. So I have two things that drive me. One is my legacy. I grew up poor, and I don't want to go back or let my kids or even their grandkids see that, man. So if I can, lead the way in that, and, for me, I didn't get that silver spoon, and that's okay because I didn't need it. But I don't want them to go through what I had to achieve what I've achieved. I'm 43 this month, and it was a long path, dude. And so I want to try and take it. The world's just getting harder anyways. So I want to try to take this burden off them so that, they don't ever see it or even think about it for generations. So legacy would be one. The second thing was the death of my friend Eric. It was literally a routine job, hot work, and it was a disaster. Basically some miscommunication and some poor planning that wasn't even very dynamic or difficult to spot. So those two things are what drive me every day.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the actual fatality that you had to be a part of and assist in, and then like you said, your family, or you're leaving behind your legacy and which surpasses your legend. I've heard that from colleague, I forgot his name, he works for Turner as well, Turner Mining. But yes, leaving behind that legend, it definitely is a big thing, especially in my book. I have 4 daughters, so I know family is the driving factor. But then also having something so traumatic in a sense, and know that in the back of your head, that's pushing you, one, to help keep saving lives so it doesn't happen again, and two, to be a better safety professional. Yeah. So in your current role now, let's talk a little bit about complacency. How does complacency factor into what you're doing currently, and are you seeing it a lot? How do you handle it?
Sure. So I like to start this question. I like to start it off with a question, and really I always ask, is complacency really a choice? Because I feel like complacency is this scary word that people think that people are making bad decisions because they want to. Almost, that's very close to negligence. And so I'll get to where I'm going with this, but really people aren't bad, man. They're not trying to get themselves or someone hurt. I haven't come across a single incident that I know of through an investigation that someone said, yeah, dude, I just wanted to hurt him, or I just wanted to hurt me. No one wants to get hurt, dude. There is reasons behind this stuff, Yeah. And so I want to turn complacency into not such a scary word, but something I think leadership from all levels needs to be prepared to battle against. And I use that word very carefully because I think there is a little bit of a battle here.
Okay. So, the like you said, nobody wakes up and says, oh, today I'm going to go get hurt, or today I'm going to, I'm going to go to the hospital because I'm going to get hurt. Nobody says that. Nobody wakes up and thinks, oh, stretch, yawn, brush your teeth, look yourself in the mirror, say, yep, I'm going to get hurt today. No, I don't think anybody does that. And like you said, it's definitely a battle, a war that continues to be fought between understanding the human behavior and then bridging that gap with the upper management executive team, understanding that behavior of their people. I'm all about a behavioral-based safety type program, but at the same time, I'm definitely into the human organizational process. The processes have to be there. If the processes aren't there, we're just setting people up to fail. It goes hand in hand, and it definitely leads, when it's done right, it definitely leads to less incidents and more observations and more engagement from a workforce.
Yeah, you're good, bro. I love it.
I try. I've been in the industry for 10 years. I served in the Navy for 6 years. From 2002 to 2006. So I did it. Me. No, not a problem.
Right there.
Yes, sir. Pound it. Bam. But and just being in the military, sometimes you didn't ever think about it because you were told what to do and you had to do it. Those were your orders. But sometimes you do see the complacency on that side. Like, why are we putting our men and women in harm's way, deliberately putting them in harm's way? Something has to change. The process has to change. And complacency in my book is one of two things. If somebody is considered being complacent, well, complacency starts at the top. Somebody wasn't looking out for them, so that in a sense is where it starts. And then obviously they do take a choice, but it's not a choice to say I'm going to do it wrong. It's taking that choice to say, this is what I've been taught, this is how I've learned over the years, I'm going to keep doing it this way. And it just has to change. So what's the biggest challenge that you've come across being at Turner?
Well, so what I'll do is, so you mentioned the military, you mentioned, so complacency is a systemic issue, right, throughout our lives. Yeah. And one of the things that complacency has to do with is it talks about a self-satisfaction so a need for self-satisfaction outweighing the identification of a hazard. So why would someone put themselves in harm's way to get something satisfactual, right? Yeah. And so me having a paramedic background, I started looking into this. And so what I did is, man, I like data. I'm quantitative. I'm not really philosophical, but I do believe in active caring. What is safety? It's everything, right? Yeah. It's a servant leader, mind and heart. But with this one, I decided to use mostly my mind to kind of navigate it. And so what I did is I looked at all of our incidents over about 5 years and looked at those that had causal factors of complacency. A lot do. And after I studied the data, and what you'll find is, so I won't use Turner as an example. or anything, because I've done it in multiple places, and really the data always lines up. It's Wednesdays and Fridays, before lunch and before going home. That's when you're going to get hurt. And so I was like, okay, so with this, there's something that's here. Why are people ignoring hazards for self-gratification before lunch? What does lunch provide that they biologically need that's taking them from complacency as a choice to, no, man, my brain's doing something and I'm no longer focusing? And then the same thing on a Wednesday, so into the middle of the week, right? And we'll talk about that. And then next, it's before dinner again. And it's at the end of the week and before lunch and dinner again. So what I started thinking about is, what is truly happening? What do I want from lunch?
A full stomach.
A break. I want a break.
A break, yep.
Right? Fatigue. So I'm battling fatigue because I need a break. Or I'm battling stress because I need a break. I want food. My brain needs nutrition to fire up themselves. Yep. And it's going to shut down on you, not off, in different ways. And I want to talk a little bit about the symptoms of that. What else do I want? I'm thirsty, man. Yep. I'm thirsty, dude. And my brain is also, okay, so I'm tired, I'm hungry, and I'm thirsty, dude. That's hangry right there. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, it is.
I do that at home. I'm like, no one talk to me until I eat. Yeah. But you don't do that at work. You don't say, I'm stopping working till I eat. That's where all those peer pressure, that's where leadership comes in. That's where they need to have that personal touch and go, whoa, how is my team physically doing, mentally doing? Yeah. And so that's where I started attacking it, dude. That's where I started attacking it.
Nice. Yeah. And again, understanding the human behavior and what's triggering those, emotions and, those types of behaviors, obviously you got to gather data by, going out to the field, viewing and gathering those statistics. But then, like you said, putting that human touch on actually talking to your people, seeing how they're doing. If you're going to be in the middle of nowhere, erecting a building, set up some tents so that way your guys can take breaks. Obviously, if you're in the middle of New York and you're in a high rise, set up stations to where every floor to a hydration station. Make sure they have enough porta johns everywhere.
There's so
like
much, dude.
Yeah, I mean it's great. It's great to. I am very passionate about safety because I get to bring value to so many people I come across, and then not only that, I make it personal by talking to them every single day, knowing them by name. They're not just, somebody that's, on a list or, a number. Okay, we have 35 guys here. He's guy number 35. No, I know everybody by name. I familiarize myself with, with their names and how they're doing. And, again, we're in the support business. We're here to support no matter what. If your guy's having a bad day, pull them off to the side. Hey, what's going on? Kind of, dig in a little bit, get a little personal, but then, he knows that he can come to you and say, hey, I have a problem. This is what's on my mind. I can't focus. And then that way it prevents him from, missing a step and getting hurt.
Yeah.
So being a paramedic.
Yeah.
How are those ambulance rides? What is in your arsenal on an ambulance?
Oh, dude. So what do we carry?
Yeah.
Man, what do we carry? So if you think about it, what do? We arrive, we go to scene, we assess, we stabilize, and we transport, and then hand off. So basically, ambulance is equipped. It's about 10,000. They're about 10,000 pounds an ambulance. And you've got everything, if you think about it, from head to toe. So brain needing oxygen, maybe some glucose, moving on down. So airway tools, intubation tools. So advanced and basic stuff. Coming on down to heart monitors, cardiac medications, stuff to, for trauma to the lungs, abdominal trauma, again, vital signs, diagnostic tools, spinal immobilization boards, Kendrick extrication devices, all kinds of nifty stuff, man, to take care of folks, dude,
right,
in the time of need,
Yeah. So what is your quickest response time being an EMT?
Well, okay. All right, dude, I got one for you. We went to a call for, it's funny. So firemen are much like safety professionals, right? They get called for everything. And we literally got called to a lady, so a daughter of a mother needed us to help us carry her, to put her in a car to go to a doctor's appointment. That's why they called, right?
Wow.
So I was on the fire department at this time. So we roll up in an ambulance, and we have a fire engine with us, and there's 7. Yeah, there's about 7 of us. And we come in, ready, our bags. And what do we need? What do we got? We need you to carry her to the garage and put her in the car. I can't get her. All right, we can do that. You guys can cut, you roll, we'll take care of this, And the one cool thing, I don't know what it was, but it was a beautiful day out. And I remember the engine company wasn't like in a hurry to get out of there,
Right.
Kind of walking out, chatting and talking. And we took the mom and picked her up and set her in the passenger side seat. And hey, good day. And we started walking out. And as we were walking out, the daughter started screaming, "Hey, help, help, help. What's going on?" We ran over. Mom's done, just cardiac arrest. A lot of times like a syncopal episode or could have, syncope. Basically, she was already having difficulties. And so it was a little bit exacerbated probably by the movements and stuff. And I grabbed her underneath her shoulder, her arms, put her onto the floor, man. Compressions right now. Right. That's why we had that set. The third person was we had a training. I was like, all right, dude, you're on the monitor and you got airways, so let's roll with that. Compressions right here. Dude, like, we didn't even get to the monitor or anything. Well, we had the monitor on, but we didn't get to any cardiac drugs or anything. But we got a heart rate back.
Yeah.
Literally, like,
wow.
Dude, like 2 minutes. And so originally it was called in cardiac arrest. 2 minutes later, we're like, no, it's not. Like, she's not. She literally, by the time we got to the hospital, was sitting up, talking to us, thanking us like it was nothing. That doesn't happen, dude. That's stuff off of TV.
Yeah.
I know this isn't about CPR, but dude, compressions fast and compressions always, like, saved her life, like, literally.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were on the scene,
Yeah. No, wow. That, and it's crazy how, the reaction time, how quick, and again, God does, things in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer of that. And, you guys were called to assist to get her in the car and stayed around just in time to help her again, to save her life. And again, that it gives me chills every time, something like that happens. And being a safety professional, I get chills all the time because I see some cringy crap and, something I have to stop immediately. But, just knowing that I can be in the right place at the right time to help save a life. And it goes a long way.
That's the hard thing about safety, man, is, the thing about being a paramedic, EMT or fireman, maybe police officers, nurses, that's instant gratification, right? You see the results of your hard work. And, that's the other thing is for new safety professionals or even those who might be second guessing their career because you don't see all that gratification, right. But you're making impacts. You just can't, you got to measure them through data, which isn't as fun,
Yeah. Right.
But don't forget, like, you're saving lives. I think I saved like 7 a day, probably. I mean,
nice. That's awesome.
I just,
you got me beat by 2. I did 5.
Okay,
I said 5. Yeah, I did 5. So
I have an average great. 5 a day is what I'm trying to say.
So, being in the construction field, do you guys have like an incentive program or something that, continuous improvement that incentivizes, good, safe behavior? Yeah.
So, the one thing so we talked about biological, and then I was thinking about that, add heat. So add the hot Texas summer in that. with a divorce or financial issues or suspended driver's license or whatever, or add the cold, freezing cold, Iowa, where I was before, and then all those other things. And so why I brought that back is you're talking about active caring. Like, what are we doing to eliminate? So we said, hey, okay, so we've got some issues, right? How about work rest schedules for the fatigue part before lunch? Man, do you think someone's going to work harder for you and provide more value if they got a 15-minute break every hour? No one likes that. They don't want to hear that.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so work someone for 120 minutes and see how much value you get out of them versus 45 minutes of brain on fire, So that's work rest schedule. Electrolytes, water, warm water. What about in the winter? Provide warm water so you can do a tea. Cold water in the summers, dude. How many times you open an ice chest and there's like a lukewarm water?
Oh my God, I hate it. Yeah. Nobody wanted to fill the bucket back up, I want cold water. It's hot.
Cold water, dude. Americans don't like warm water, dude.
Yeah, no.
I was in the UK, they drink everything warm, and I'm like, that's fine, but you want ice cold, right?
Yeah.
So you do that, but then how? So active caring. What is active caring? You kind of hit on. You hit on a lot. Is how do we make someone's day better than when they arrived, and how do we make our place the place where people want to come to work? Versus, dude, I don't want to work at that plant across the street or that data center. I want to work at that one.
Right.
And that's where I think the active caring model comes in and starts to. So we've already fought the biological part. Now let's start fighting the stress part.
Yeah.
And we've implemented a lot of awesome things, dude. So first of all, with weather and environment, do seasonal weather committees. Start early in spring and prepare for summer. Don't start reactively. And there's a lot of things you can do for the summer. And then the same thing for winter. Do a seasonal weather committee for the winter. There's so many things you can do to prepare for the winter to now take the environmental part out of it.
Right.
And so you got these happy folks. So you want to have a happy place, man. Removing stress can be as simple as a paved walkway versus a muddy one.
A muddy, yes. Yeah.
Or a gravel parking lot versus a muddy one, dude. Yeah. Mind health, like there's a lot of literature out there. So you do your stretch and flex, you do your focus areas. What about mind health? Let's just talk about, mindfulness or there's so many options out there, but be proactive in it. Musculoskeletal diseases. So a lot of wellness coaches can make some big strides in your organization. The other thing is a lot of managers think about cost, but if you look at a wellness coach, safety will always say the value you get out will save you money. But in reality, we have to also sell some other things. So let's just say you have a wellness coach. The wellness coach isn't probably going to spend 10 hours of her or his day just killing it, right? There are a lot of administrative tasks that they can learn and become more valuable to your safety department, and you can learn from them. So you start to kind of cross-pollinate that. So now you can say, hey, I got a wellness coach, but they're helping me out with the weekly man-hour weekly. I don't think you can say man-hour reports now. You have to say work hours, right?
Total work hours.
Work hours, right? Sorry about that. Monthly data, leading indicators, lagging indicators, stuff like that. So that's how you sell your wellness coach. Look for healthy meal options. Or if you can't get a healthy meal option, dude, get a gut truck in or 2 gut trucks. They make a lot of money off 1,000 people, and it's convenient. Because I can go there, grab 4 tacos, there's $8, I kill it, and I'm not worrying about cold food or it's cooked right now.
Right.
Health consults, blood pressure screenings, you can do body composition stuff. This is stuff that you're helping them realize where their gaps are. This would take stress off of me, man. If I had these options, right? Going out, but like, dang, this is awesome. So ergonomic assessments, look how people are doing things and coach them through it so that you get longevity out of those backs and shoulders, and knees. Campaigns, stop smoking.
Yep.
Lose weight, shoot, man. Healthy vending machines.
Yes.
They got them.
Yes, they have them. Yeah.
And what we did is we got a token for the healthy vending machine. So whenever our wellness coach or medic goes out, they would give medical or wellness literature out, or watch for ergonomics or healthy habits, and they would give out a healthy token to engage. What about clean lunch tents? Just clean.
Yeah, it's clean. That's it.
Paper towels, dude.
Yeah. Hand sanitizer, paper towels. High commodity on a
clean,
construction site. Yeah.
The other thing I was thinking about, women's committee. So we were at a summit and we were talking about active caring, and one of the ladies brought up the fact that we don't really think from their perspective, which if you think about things that women deal with. I have 3 girls too. You have 4, but mine are 9, dude. I don't know what they're girls,
Right.
And so I don't know ladies like ladies know ladies. So we did a women's committee, and basically all the ladies on site once a month will have lunch. This is your administration and your electricians all getting together and talk about how to make the site better for women. And then how to also have literature for women or single moms, stuff like that. So a good lunch. We did this with the veterans also, but there's a huge impact with this. So why I started veterans committees on site, and then the women's committee goes beyond just that, is you're going to have a lot of trades out there, right? So you have welders always hate plumbers, right? Or whatever it is, the steel guys always hate the electrical guys.
The millwright.
If you take like-minded people, women, veterans, and you reignite that camaraderie, they don't see each other as the trade partner I hate. That's my brother, dude. That's my sister,
Right.
Like I can't get mad at them anymore. I have lunch and laugh and open up with them.
Right.
So committees are huge for them, the people who join them, but also for the impact on morale. But incentive programs, you hit it, dude. One of the cool things we did was we noticed the site needed some cleanup, and we were doing the whole thing, dude, clean, you're not listening, clean, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. No one listens, bro. People are busy. But what we did is I was like, man, I was on LinkedIn, and there was this dude on the beach, and he had all this trash behind him. It was a trashy beach, and he took a selfie, and then he cleaned up the trash and took another selfie. And I was like, what if we do a trash and seek? Someone came up with that name, but what if we do this and we say, hey, we're going to give you out $500 worth of gifts in 2 weeks to a team of 2 from any company, and the company can have as many as they want, who show the best before and after picture. And so we probably got $20,000 worth of work for $500, dude. But it was fun, right? And they got to see the results that they put in, and then it was displayed. So all these teams showed, right? And we had fun. There were some teams who just did a little bit, but they did more than the teams that were on there,
Right.
And then some did huge, so that went pretty far, but it also got the place cleaned up. It was so successful. The client was like, do it again. Again.
Yeah.
We gave out
seen how much value.
Pole. Yeah.
They see how much value comes in, and talking about the all the different types of avenues you can take to make somebody's life and time they have on site better. The vending machines, the food trucks that come in, and just giving them the option of hot food and a clean tent, clean toilet areas. Again, there's a lot more women coming to the construction sites these days. There's a lot more, safety professionals that are, women, welders, iron workers that are now women, and I preach that because, and it's a fair opportunity for everybody to help each other out on a job site where you have diversity like that. Because I have 4 daughters. My oldest is 15, fixing to be 16, and she's close to getting out of high school and becoming a woman of society. And I just try to instill in her that hard work ethic, but be mindful that somebody's going to have a bad day just like you have bad days.
Yeah, you brought up a good point, dude, which is one of the things I was thinking about was like a My Brother's Keeper program, so we always say, it used to be My Brother's Keeper, but it's My Brother's Sister's Keeper, right? And it's changing that employee from an employee to a real person. And it just made me realize something you said. My daughter's going to go out into the workforce someday. So someone's daughter, so some father's daughter is expecting his daughter to be taken care of, right? And so these women's committee is us going back and saying, what do we need to make your day better? Because you're someone's daughter, and man, I want to honor your father, dude. Yeah, I just put that together right now when you said that, like to make it personal, dude. I want to make your dad proud. So what do I need to do to make your day better? So always keep it personal. That's like a morale thing too. Is remembering that we're family. Family. We probably spend more time together than we do with our real family.
Yes. And some people don't see it like that. You have those individuals that just come to work, get their hours in, and go home. They don't mix those lines of work and family, but then those are the ones that you actually have to watch out for and kind of dig in a little deeper. I wouldn't know when I was at a steel fabrication company up in Virginia. That was one of the biggest things that I tried to do. Some of the old timers, the ones that were instilled in their, they were in their ways, stuck in their ways, but chipping away and talking to them every day, and just casual conversations during their breaks, going in there and having lunch with the crews and actually sitting down. I could go eat in my office, or
you could
go out to eat, but I would bring my lunch and I would sit right there with them, because those are the guys that are helping change what happens in the shop. They're the ones that are going to get the engagement, and if it rubs off on one of the older higher tenure guys,
the veterans,
the veterans, then you end up getting it to where somebody they push it on somebody else, and then that person pushes it on the next person, and it holds them accountable, and it's great.
Well, you said something important, dude. Go out and eat lunch. A lot of this stuff isn't expensive, man. It's just effort. It's just effort, dude. Engaging, educating, helping to empower people, and teach them to execute things like 4 E's, those pillars. It's just really an effort, dude. It's you know what I mean. We did a push-up competition. We had some nice waivers made, what you can do. I want to make sure you guys protect company's liability and stuff when we have fun. But we had these nice waivers made. But dude, we had this push-up competition. It sounded like the fight from last night, dude. Wild and Fury. It was like, I'm telling you, they were like, company was like competing against company, and then we took it to a squat challenge. But that was effort. All we did was play some music, dude. A cool thing we did too, this was nice. We got like 10 yoga mats and some sanitizing spray. And once a week during lunch, we would do a 30-minute stretching lab. So, you get your 5-6 minute stretch in real quick and you go to work. But this was like on your back, good, deep stretches, all voluntary. So, it doesn't always have to be competitive is what I'm getting at.
Right.
Relaxing too. And then remember to have fun, dude.
Yeah.
Ping pong tables are cheap.
Yep.
Foosball tables are cheap. Yep. Do like
cornhole.
Quiz days. Yeah, cornhole, dude. We have cornhole. Hacky sacks.
Yeah.
They're funny, dude. You had to watch people play with a $2 hacky sack, dude.
Yeah.
Like you're like, bro, where'd they get all that energy? You know. Do Aloha Friday, man. Your Hawaiian T-shirt contest, or the winter do a flannel one, you know, or Halloween costumes, dude, like contests. There's so much. It's just effort. You gotta put it in.
Yeah, and you know, being out in the construction field, and you know, a lot of times the workers don't think, oh, we can't be a part of this, only for the office. No, it is not only for the office. And that's one of the biggest things that I've tried to do over the years, and being in the corporate safety director position, is understanding, because I came from a worker background. I started as a labor and confined space down in Texas, you know, down in Houston. And, you know, I'm part of the team too. I'm the one that's out here busting my butt, but you guys are the ones that are having parties, and, you know, so why not bring some of that into the shop, and being able to, you know, bring that again, that camaraderie and that togetherness, saying I'm part of the team. Yeah. And it goes a long way. It goes a long way. It does, dude. And that's all it is effort. Effort. Just a little bit of effort, man. Make it personal. Get to know some folks, you know. Talking to people. But, oh, dude, I had this on my mind. Don't forget this. Don't forget to active care upstream. And what I mean by that is, what are you doing to make you, so you're asking your team to achieve all of these metrics and all these goals and care for people. But if you don't lead by example, meaning within the team, you're never going to buy in. It's only a checkbox. You have to do these things today to make us proud. No, leaders have to make your life better today. Leaders have to send you home better than you came. Right. Leaders have to, make it a place that you want to come to work. When they feel that, they'll do active care with you, because the result is, wow, this feels good. Yeah. I want to paint it on. But if you just give them a job, you're not doing it, you're not going to be successful. It's just going to be talk, dude. Yeah, that's all it is. And then they're going to hide stuff. They're not going to, report anything. They're not going to help, the culture. If anything, it's going to make the culture a little worse. So yes, you got to do it upstream as well, and you got to. Taking the higher level execs, your CEOs, your VPs, get them out to the site, let them see why we are pushing this so hard and how they can become engaged. Let them be part of, because I'm not afraid to get dirty. I'm one of those safety guys that's out there, and I put my gloves on. I thought you were in the Navy though. I was. You don't get dirty, bro. So, put my gloves on, and it goes a long way when somebody can see that even the safety guy is willing to help me, pick up this pile of dirt, or, do some housekeeping, or, help hold an extension ladder while he gets tied off or whatnot. And it's just the little things that change a culture. And it's gratifying. Like you said, that self-gratification, that's what we live for in the safety world. Yeah. Don't show up to our sites with clean boots. Yeah, no. Dude, not at all. You better go step in a mud puddle. Exactly. Go hop around in mud a little bit. Yeah. So, coming close to the end of the show, let everybody know where they can reach you at, where they want to follow you or get in contact with you. Let everybody know where they can reach you at. Well, so the question is, what are you doing proactively to fight complacency, right? So at the end, you got to ask yourself that, self-reflect tonight, think about it. The other thing is, Pedro and I, we're here to help. I'm on LinkedIn a lot. I know you are. That's the best place to find me. Jarrod Tomassi, JarrodTomassi. Hit me up on LinkedIn. Don't just ask me for a job. No, just joking. Get to know me, dude. I was like, hi, Jarrod. Do you have a job? And I'm like,
I don't even know you, dude. Like, you seem like you're nice. But get to know us, man. Get to know us. Let's have some fun on LinkedIn and let's network, I was nervous to do this, but I want to make, a national impact like Pedro's doing. I want to make this big. I don't want to keep all of these things to ourselves. We need to be sharing more and quit trailblazing on our own because someone's already done it.
Yeah.
Someone's already done it. So definitely reach out if you need some help. The other thing too is just on the motivational side, man, there's a lot of haters out there. Don't let them get to you. Keep pushing and it'll all be worth it in the end. Just keep pushing.
Oh yeah.
Haters gonna hate.
Yep, they are. Now that you say that, the haters, a lot of times haters are mad because what you're doing is working. That's why they're hating. So when you can get one of those haters to convert into, being part of your team and turn them not being a hater to being, a friend,
a liker.
Yeah. One of the buddies that goes hits that like button and subscribes for you. It definitely goes a long way. But again, they just have to be educated. You got to be mentored, coached up and brought into the active caring of what we do.
Yeah. So, we need to start a clothing line, bro.
Oh yeah,
like Likers rule or something. Like Likers is the new word, dude.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
There's my son.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Say what's
nice. Nice. Good deal. Yeah. So with that being said, thank you for being a part of this podcast. Again, it's not very big, but it's out there. Again, you can find Jarrod on LinkedIn. That's where you usually find me at. You can find us on Anchor FM or anywhere you usually listen to your podcast. So with that being said, Jarrod, again, appreciate it. Thank you for being on the show.
Well, we're at the end of our show, so I hope I was able to add value to your everyday activities and essentially bring value to you. That's what we want to do here on the show. We look forward to inspiring you with new and amazing content every week, anywhere from safety insights to interviews with leaders in various industries. If you have a topic or idea that you might want to have featured on the show, or if you yourself want to be featured on the show, send an email to safetytrainer1215@gmail.com. Again, that's safetytrainer1215@gmail.com. Now, before we leave, I just want you to think about one thing and ask yourself one question. What is your X factor? Until next time.